Why namaste means for what? To whom you are telling the namaste? Actually, namaste. No, namaste actually is in Indian culture. Namaste we utter, or in South India we say namaskaram or vanakkam in Tamil. Actually, that the respecting the soul internal you inside you. So that's the culture here. Namaste is not for a person. It is the spirit, soul, Atma.
Because instead, some people instead good morning, it is.
Even the very good thing, good morning, that is English culture.
But in India, even I went to shopping mall, they greet me.
Namaste. Namaste. Even in respecting Japanese, we cannot beat Japanese. They very much. They bow. That humility, that flexibility to mind, they are bringing it. That ego there, why that much, namaste they are telling Japanese, it's a very good. Means your ego, because dropping the ego is biggest challenge, difficulty.
Dropping
Ego. So, dropping ego is very difficult. That's why in Japanese there was namaste. In India, we have this system of begging to drop the ego. Why in India there was beggars? We and Buddha begged. Begging.
Buddha?
Begging. Buddha. Gautama Buddha. Begging, begging?
Like busy.
Yeah. Beg.
So you cannot say begging, it is living on alms.
Alms.
But
Not
begging.
alms. Not alms. Yeah, alms is right. Begging is something they don't have. Because of poverty, they go and ask. That is, alms means they're asking for some kind of, it's like a spiritual person. He's asking kind of
Alms means you live on whatever you get. Beggars don't live on whatever they get. They take money to do whatever
beggars
they want.
means
They
who
want
are.
to drink, they want to smoke and all.
Beggar means.
So they have some personal reason and then.
And they don't stop, they just take whatever you want.
Alms means for
means
spiritual
you take
development.
only what you needed that much, don't take anything.
Even
extra.
very orthodox alms means only a day 1 hour. Whatever they give, you have to survive with that one. Only you cannot go and ask for many hours. Only 1 hour.
Whatever they give only this much bread, you eat that.
In like Asian, most of the countries, they were having the very high respect for them. Whether it is India or like a Thailand or in most of the Asian country, they are highly in respect. They are given the high respect for them.
And you mentioned also Buddha, so it was about
Buddha.
Buddha's story that he was in a king or someone?
Yeah, yes, a prince.
And he left this.
He left his wife. He left his children.
It's not really good example.
Without any proper intimation, he left.
So it's why he becomes such an example like for everyone what he did this one. So everyone starts living there.
Okay, this is a kind of big story that Mr. Amar will give you briefly. It's a big story. Buddha is a big story. It's not an ordinary personality. That is the reason. Of course, that is the Buddha did. You see from the social point of view, it is a mistake only. But anyhow, he did lot of for human race, humanity. He done lot of service, help the humanity very much. So we should not. Might be that is the situation like that.
So if here it's Hindu, so you have also Buddha here?
He is
or?
Blanco Buddha.
He is actually Hindu, but his
Buddha
scholars
belongs to
call
Hindu.
it Buddhism.
So you are Thailand?
Around Nepal.
Sri Lanka, they all followed Buddhism.
So Buddhism is something called the advancement of Hinduism called Buddhism. For meditation, Buddhism is the best. They are very.
Because he brought a different thinking that don't depend on scriptures. Because before that everything was scriptures. When Buddha came, he said, why do you want to depend on scriptures? You can find whatever you want from inside.
So don't sit
So,
outside, sit
Sit
inside.
inside.
So
People
Buddha's
can
the Buddha's teaching is straight away towards the meditation is very difficult. The Raja Yoga, straight away controlling the mind, meditation. Okay, let's talk about Buddha later. After this, chanting. After the start, a pranayam. After we start pranayam. Typically, while beginning, most of them start with Kapalabhati or Bhastrika. Even I have seen many students that like to start class very systematically, smoothly, increase the warm-up boost. Instead of straight away taking to the sun salutation high intense, students feel very comfortable, slowly increasing their intensity.
Like karma.
Yeah. So at first we can start with a pranayam. Typically we use kind of Kapalabhati or Bhastrika. Even that is not like that. We can use even Ujjayi breathing. In Ashtanga we start with Ujjayi breathing, or you can start with Nadi Sodhana also, or you can start with full yogic breathing also. So it is your creativity. It depends on the teacher. They can select according to the style, according to their what concept they depend on it.
Yeah, what kind of class?
Yeah. After that, pranayama. After pranayama, you can go for the warm-up. In warm-up, there are two types of warm-up. For example, there are some exceptions. If you go like sauna, hot yoga, there you don't do any much warm-up. Of course, you do warm-up in hot yoga also. Without warm-up, you don't teach. But that only depend on the externally, it's not good. Because what happened like hot yoga, if you don't do proper warm-up, even hot yoga also we do warm-up. Okay, don't think we are not doing. We do warm-up in hot yoga also. If you don't do warm-up in hot yoga, what happened? Only the external, your mind is not involved, your awareness is not there. So passively your muscles are like fascia, like the surface muscles only getting heating. So because you are not engaged consciously muscles, so ligaments tendons are not warmed up properly, and the supporting for the workout, the heart is not boosted, lungs are not boosted, breathing is not increased. So in hot yoga or sauna heating, we don't get a proper warm up. So when we getting heat of the body by proper exercise, by proper systematically increasing our heartbeat, increasing our breathing quantity and speed, then body getting heat, muscles getting heat, ligaments getting heat, then that is, it won't injury. So all the nutritions, the oxygens muscles get because of good circulation of blood. When body joints are cold, when you stretch that time you feel injury, strain, spasm. That's why we need a proper warm up. Even before Surya Namaskara we need warm up. But this warm up, if you compare with BKS Iyengar, he never teach warm up. He never teach Surya Namaskara. When I was beginning, one student caught me, "Sir, Surya Namaskara is a yoga or not?" I was confused. I was very young that time, maybe 23 age. I was in university professor that time. I said Surya Namaskara is yoga. How come you can say that Surya Namaskara yoga, sun salutation? Where they have written? In Hatha Yoga Pratipika, does they mention anywhere about sun salutation? No. Then who said Surya Namaskara comes under yoga? So there are some community like in India, they never claim, they never say that Surya Namaskara belongs to yoga. They hate the Surya Namaskara. They don't consider the Surya Namaskara. For example, in BKS Iyengar, there is no warm up also, and there is no Surya Namaskara also. You cannot see this. For BKS Iyengar yoga, asana only warm up, asana only Surya Namaskara. You have to find everything there only. So keep in mind. If we come to Ashtanga, without Surya Namaskara, no Ashtanga yoga. The base, the foundation, the spine of the Ashtanga or Vinyasa is Surya Namaskara. Modern dynamic modern Hatha Yoga is based on Surya Namaskara only. Without Surya Namaskara, there is no modern, no vinyasa, no Hatha vinyasa, no fun, no burning of calorie, no toning of the muscles. So after pranayam, you are going for warm up. Warm up. So warm up, there are according to your focus, according to your theme of class, you can design your warm up. Suppose you are going to give the hip opening and back bend, so you can focus the warm up related to hip opening and back bending. Or you are going to give the general class, Hatha Yoga classes, you can give the general warm up, neck movement. So from head to toes, you can give the general warm up or focused warm up. No, so if you are going to, I am going to take vinyasa, I will focus on all the major joints, like a cat and cow stretch, downward facing dog, I will give as a warm up. So all the hip, shoulders, upper back, neck, hip, pelvic, my spine, so all the major joints will open. That is targeted warm up. Only focusing on specific parts of the body we are warming up, focusing. And another warm up is general warm up. Throughout the body we give the warm up, toes to head. So there are two types of warm up we can focus. And there is not much restriction towards the warm up. You can select as a warm up any type of practice. How the warm up is important, warm down also important. So as a warm down in yoga, we do savasana. In sports also there, warm up, warm down. In sports typically they don't do warm down because after they win the game or lose the game, they go back to their role. Typically you can see, after the media comes, in case of cricket also, and they ask a lot of what is it, questions and communication. Actually they're supposed to. After winning, what they're supposed to do, they should do warm down. That's the right way. But typically we don't do. In yoga we do, called savasana, end of the practice. So to balance all the imbalances. So after warm up, we go to the Surya Namaskara, sun salutation. Sun salutation, whether it is the Ashtanga class or whether it is the Vinyasa or whether it is a Hatha Yoga. So we will be going to the sun salutation. Even sun salutation itself, you get multi benefits. You get warm up in sun salutation itself, you get breathing, pranayam, you get a posture, by chanting mantra you get a meditation. But even though before sun salutation, it is better to practice warm up. So after sun salutation, you can have a brief rest. Take a brief rest for 1 to 2 minutes after sun salutation. After sun salutation, brief rest. For typically, classes should not be pushed constantly. There should be a break, pass. Every 12 minutes or 15 minutes, there is a small gap, like a 30 seconds or 1 minute or 1.5 minutes. Especially for beginner, it is necessity. For advanced students, they don't like the space. For beginners or intermediate, you need a space. Because some students don't like, most of the students, example beginners, they don't like pushing them constantly toward the practice, 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 hour like that. So they like little bit a gap, small break, so they can breathe. They can relax little bit. Not too much break. That will distract the class. When you start communicating what happened, there your practice you will lose. Then you will becoming importance for some topic. You may be talking. So try to communicate. Talk about only the yoga related. How you feeling? How you practice? Okay, like that only yoga related. You have to focus. If you talk something politics, something, then your practice will be stopped there only. Then you will be focusing on talking only the topic.
But is it not a good idea to not just relax like this? Like, see, just make a pose, some relaxation.
Yeah, you can ask them to relax at child pose. Or you
And then
can,
stop.
yeah, you can ask them to like a chant Omkara and eyes closed and relax for 20 seconds. So there is a difference between just ideally relaxing and consciously relaxing. Once you relax consciously, even 20 seconds, 30 seconds is very a big matter. You get relaxed. Even 2-3 minutes also you won't get that much relaxed. Once you relax 20-30 seconds consciously, the relaxation is very deep. So that's what we have to relax consciously. So you have to allow like a 20 to 30 seconds to consciously relax. Not to communicate is better. Don't communicate. That will reduce the quality of class, and that will reduce that the focusing on the class. You can keep little bit silent, and they can consciously relax themselves. So after the sun salutation, if the students feel tired, even you can give a 2-3 minutes savasana also, no problem. Depend on the students or group, or depend on your style of yoga, what you teach. After that, we are going to the asanas, posture. After sun salutation, so we have to start from where? Which category of pose? Shall we start from like supine, or shall we start from the abdomen, or shall we start from the standing pose?
Standing.
Yeah. So we have to, typically we start from, there are some exceptional of course, but generally we start from standing. Whether it is Iyengar, or whether it is Ashtanga Yoga, or whether it is Hatha Yoga traditional. We start with standing. For example, there are some other interesting metaphoric or symbolic. Swami Lonawala, Swami Kuvaliyananda, Lonawala School of Yoga.
Which one?
Kuvaliyananda,
At Lonavala.
Lonawala, he is a founder. Scientific yoga, they have only started. They have been teaching for this Indira Gandhi family, like that. So how they start asana, first their logic. How when we born, what is our pose? Abdomen. So they start first with abdomen. After that what? Back. After that what? Standing. So they are using that logic in that institute, Kaivalya Dhama, one of the ancient, oldest the school in India, Pune. Okay? Even I have seen some bigger school of yoga teacher, the sun salutation, he teach before savasana. Okay? Even sometimes myself I used to do personal practice when I was very tired, I don't have energy. For example, today I take class, I don't have energy. So I won't start with Surya Namaskara. First I lie down the back. If I do practice evening time, I feel very tired. So I lie down on back, I do the lumbar stretch, single leg rising, side lumbar stretch, bridge breathing, slowly breathing and body movements, slowly I gain the energy. After that, I come to cat and cow stretch. After that, I boost up. I come back to normal. After that, I go to sun salutation. That also we can do. And one more example, tradition, Sivananda, because Sivananda the first guy, they offer TTC in India now, everywhere available. When we studying, TTC means, yoga means only few places in India while I am studying, around 2000. One is Sivananda, Nayar Dam. Another is the Bangalore Vivekananda. Another is Lonavala.
Shivananda is where?
Sivananda, they have Nayar Dam and they are having Rishikesh also.
Nehar Dam.
Nayar Dam, Kerala state. Nayar Dam. Even their branch in, like they have one small branch in Tamil Nadu, Madurai, they are a group of Malayalis. So that is little bit better. Even they have got a group of community in Sivananda because lot of foreigners, Indians are there. So they made two groups, Indians and foreigners. There is a two group now, Sivananda Yoga. Indians and foreigners. But that time they are the best, because they practice they emphasize on the practice, like daily 4 hours practice. And the way of their lifestyle and the food is little bit different. And slightly liberal, not much liberal, but slight liberal and orthodox. If you come to here, Vivekananda Bangalore, it is more strict, you don't have liberal and all. You have to undergo that process. You cannot escape anywhere. No, I don't like this. If you don't like, you can go out. If you are here, you have to attend the class. That is their rule. If you are inside the campus, you have to obey to the rules and regulations. You cannot simply, no, I came for visiting, I am walking here, there. No one will be allowed like that. You can go to other ashrams, you can simply stay, I want to do meditation, then they will accept. But here they don't do like that. You have to, certain procedure, you have to follow the rules and regulations. You can't do what you like. That is the rules. Okay, Sivananda, what I said for you, how they start the class, how they end the class, Sivananda Yoga.
What is in this yoga?
How they start the class, how they end the class.
Like at the beginning, what we talk?
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yesterday I said you.
what you mean exactly? These prayers and sitting.
Sivananda, they start with Savasana, end with Savasana. When my teacher is teaching to me 99 while I am studying college in Chennai, so my master used to teach like this one. First he will teach Savasana. First he will teach Savasana. At the end, Savasana. But that is more orthodox, more ideal actually. Even for example, doing Sarvangasana also keep in mind, but this is more in olden days we teach. Before Sarvangasana, they have to rest 1 to 2 minutes. After Sarvangasana, they have to rest 1 to 2 minutes. Even same Sirasasana also. If you are kneel down, from child pose you relax, you go to Sirasasana next time. After you coming back, don't get up, don't come to Vajrasana, you remain in child pose only for 30 seconds to 1 minute. Even Sarvangasana also same, Sirasasana also same. That is the formal method, traditional method. For example, like in Vinyasa and all, we don't follow these rules. Even in traditional Hatha Yoga also, no teachers are following this. They are ignored nowadays. But the old teachers, they have know this idea. We teach like this only. Why means they have to rest. Inverted pose later that, before that, later that. Before they have to rest, strength. After that, your heart is overworked. Because heart should supposed to come from bottom to up. So that is very difficult part. That's what the heart being overstrained. After that, it need a rest. And Sarvangasana is the one of the queen of the asana called Sarvangasana, who is king. Sirasasana is called the king of the asana, according to Iyengar or the modern Hatha yogis. But according to, according to Hatha Yoga, which is the best asana means, Siddhasana is the best asana among all the asana. There are around 84,000 or 84 lakh of postures are there. The postures. Among that, there are 84 asanas are important in Hatha Ratnavali, one of the Hatha Yoga scripture or text. And another Hatha Yoga scripture, Girendra Samhita, in that 32 asanas are there. So among all the asanas, like 84,000 asanas or 84 lakh asanas, the best asana is some 4 asanas. Among that, the Siddhasana is the best asana among all the asanas. But what the queen and king is, now the present century yogis, they have kept the name for that.
Siddhasana it is, right?
Yeah, taking the heels close towards your perineum.
What was the name, King? What?
Sirasasana, headstand. And Sirasasana especially, you should not stay for a long duration. At very beginning only, it should increase the duration gradually.
Today I stayed for 1 minute. I am feeling sleepy like it.
Don't increase because of there are the tiny the blood vessels. The blood vessels that might get ruptured. That's what. Increase the duration gradually in Sirasasana. Don't all at once you increase. And better you practice with Ardha Sirasasana. Go formally. That is always safe. Sirasasana is one of the highly risky pose.
Why?
Because your neck might get twisted. You have to be very careful.
If that gets twisted, you might.
You have to be careful.
Whole nervous system will break down.
Because there are some accident happened. So we have to be careful. Especially in Sirasasana. So teacher should be close to the student. Then only we have to teach Sirasasana. Otherwise, don't fall and teach Sirasasana. That is not good. You should be supportive for them.
If something breaks or like
Twist.
gets pressed here,
I used to see that people do this on the beach. On
your
the
whole
sun.
body will be paralyzed if something gets pressed.
Unless until you don't get accident, it's not a problem. But anyhow, you have to go a safer side.
Yes. A security.
Yeah. Sometimes kids do just like that because kids and all they do like fun.
But when I saw this people, yoga people, like they practice from the standing like this, head standing in their leg, it's like a split.
No, they have been practicing for many days. Yeah, the many years they've been practicing. Now they won't do like very easily.
Yeah, because it's look like.
But in streets, even something happens, nothing will happen to us. No? But if you are a teacher in your yoga studio, something is happening, then you are equally responsible.
You have to be
for that.
careful. That's what you have to be careful. While doing headstand, you have to understand the students. You can step by step make them to practice.
Is it this asana, for example, have the same help like this one? Rabbit, yes, or something, this one?
Sasangasana. This is also called Sasangasana.
So-
The thighs straight, forehead towards the knee.
So they can
Rabbit
do
pose.
instead this one, is the same effect? Or?
Yeah, same, not same effect, you don't get that. You get the same effect in Prasarita Padodasana. Legs spread and head taking between. In that you get the Sirasasana effect,
Oh,
but not in the rabbit.
standing position, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Prasarita Padodasana. Legs wide spread, head between the feet. In that you get the Sirasasana benefit. That is also called, this is even the normal, the rabbit pose, we call it even child pose also rabbit pose. And what is said, this curving the spine, that also called rabbit pose, advanced rabbit pose. Radhi's mother-in-law down main floor, be careful, she was doing some gardening work with some labours he kept and were doing front. So that's how I said some few, the major institute they follow slightly different. So keep in your mind. So this is actually what we following is, this is the general, a typical, average. So always there are exceptionals, okay? How was your knee? If someone say if you don't ask itself, it will becoming okay. You are only remembering often.
Better.
Better, yes.
Sometimes if you forget, that problem goes
Yes.
just like that.
When you're busy, you forget.
When you keep remaining,
I had to like this
it's
many times.
even we forget, the other people will remember something which we forget. That is the problem. So we start with standing asanas. In standing asanas, we can do standing asana forward bend, standing asana backward bend. Yeah, you can ask her. So in standing asana, we can do all the poses from standing only. Standing forward bend, standing backward bend, Standing lateral flexion.
Part 2.
Yeah, side bending called lateral
Page number
flexion.
68 onwards.
Standing rotation. Standing arm balance. So we can do in standing itself all the poses. The future of standing is you need more strength and energy. You are burning more calorie on the standing asanas. So after standing asanas, so even standing asana, you are coming to sitting asanas. Seated. The categories, the sitting posture. After sitting postures, we coming to the supine. After the supine, we come to the finally the abdomen. That is called technical term prone. After the Dhanurasana, prone, we go to the Savasana, or we can even go to the Yoga Nidra also.
So we have standing, sitting, then
Abdomen, this one which I am doing.
abdomen.
The abdomen we call abdomen easy, or the technical term is the prone. Prone means the abdomen flat.
And then on the back.
Supine.
No, on back first, after that we come stomach. First back. It's dependent students, but in Sivananda, the first they do like back, after that they go abdomen. Some teachers they start with abdomen and they end with chakrasana. Final, mostly the last pose will be chakrasana, wheel pose. Because that need lot of preparation for wheel. In wheel posture, that is called in India we call it as a chakrasana. In Western, in Vinyasa they call it as a Urdhva Dhanurasana. Don't confuse. In India typically we call it as a chakrasana. It's like a wheel. But in Vinyasa and Ashtanga they call it as a Urdhva Dhanurasana. Urdhva Dhanurasana. So after standing, sitting.
So it's like that, but in Vinyasa, the sitting pose have different name.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So after the supine, you can go to prone, or do prone, you can go to supine. After that, you have to go to savasana, the relaxation technique, corpse pose. After that, the ending prayer, 1 Om Tri Shanti. After the prayer, you can ask if you want to give how you felt your class. You can ask the feedback and suggestion. End of that class. Any doubt?
Yes, because when the class, some classes are 45 minutes, some 1 hour, 1.5. So how we should adjust with less time? We should
Manage the
keep
time
some-
and practice. So mostly the structure we cannot disturb. All this certain structure we cannot remove. We cannot remove. We can't. All these are all we have to maintain. The beginning posture, the brief relaxation meditation, very beginning, the prayer. These are compulsory. So only where you can change the end also. Almost we have to maintain this end also. So where we can manage the time means we can manage the time in number of Surya Namaskara and number of poses. Here only we can manipulate. Loophole.
number.
Yes. Whether you can reduce Surya Namaskara plus reduce the number of postures. Here only we can reduce the time. We cannot, the structure we cannot disturb. Number of poses or number of Surya Namaskara you reduce. There only we can manage the timing. And overall, if you want to reduce more timing and reduce the number of counts or repetitions. If you want to make it 30 minutes or 40 minutes, so reduce that even number of warm-ups, number of pranayamas, everything you can reduce slightly. At beginning classes, every students feel difficult. Every students will think they have, if I ask them to take class, most of the students will have confidence. But when going on the mat, they will get a starting problem. Because they will forget, the mind will get a blank. So, take a notes. You can have a small notebook. Don't take a big notebook, like a mobile, like kind of small paper or small notebook. Keep the notes. Write it down. Okay, you can write it down. Okay, posture. This is posture. Okay. So brief meditation, 2 minutes. After that, this is 2 minutes. Prayer, like 30 seconds. After that, pranayama, 2 minutes. Warm up, 3 minutes. Surya Namaskara, 7 minutes. Okay, asana, 20 minutes. After that, savasana, 7 minutes. Pranayama, 2 minutes. After that, prayer. There's no need prayer anyhow. We don't need to spend too much time. Like some 20 seconds. Suggestion, that is no out of class. So like that, you can split by giving number of minutes. So that's how we have to work out at beginning. Otherwise, what happens if you don't have a proper intention and proper the structure of your class, you will get missed somewhere. You will lose the confidence. You will forget the thing what to teach. Once you have this format, okay, pranayama, okay, this, that will keep on reminding you, guiding you. So this is how we have to take a class at beginning. After that, you don't need any help. You can mentally frame everything. So like a robot, you can sequence it mentally. No need to write and all, think and all. If you give me any problem, now I can do mentally, I can program it. Any problem, if you say any kind of sequence, I can create mentally, no need anything. So instantly I will create, I will take class. So by experience we get that. At beginning we have to do manually. Next we will go to Atha style and we will focus on asana practicing in style of Atha and in style of Vinyasa. So this, any doubt on this structure?
But is it important to follow the same directional flow?
Sorry?
But is it important to follow the same flow?
Everyone having the habit of that. Most of internationally. In internationally we having this structure, right? If you want, you can change the structure if you want. If you want to be, it is unique. If it is unique and if it is students are getting more benefit, then you can change. I given the example of that Lonavala, after that Sivananda, and I said even Iyengar, they don't teach warm up. So these are all there. Exceptionals are there, no? But this is the general format, I said. There are some exceptions also, I said. Even B.K. Iyengar himself, no warm up. Swami Kuviliyananda, he start with abdomen pose only. Sivananda, they start with Savasana, and with Savasana. So asana, we perform Atha way of asana and Vinyasa way of asana performing. Navendra can give example. The Atha way of performing asana and Vinyasa way of performing asana.
I should demonstrate or give example verbally?
Verbally only.
Okay.
I don't want to discuss
So
it.
in Hatha way we first get into Samasthiti and then in Hatha way we get into Samasthiti first. Samasthiti is also Tadasana and it's a normal pose. We start with that first one and then get into the pose of that particular asana, then correct the alignment and then perform the asana and then come back to the Tadasana, that is Samasthiti.
And then again, another asana.
Yes. That's how it goes in Hatha Yoga. In Vinyasa, so Vinyasa, the word itself means the flow. You do not have to take the break. It has to go through the flow. So within two asanas, there won't be any break. It would be flowing. Like we continuously flow in the morning for 1.5 hours. Someday will be flowing out of life itself. Right? It's so difficult. 1.5 hours. पूजा वूजा करके है सर आज मंदिर से आ रहा हूँ रोज नहीं मैं 2 दिन से देख रहा हूँ कल देखा था और आज देखा
रोज करता हूँ कभी कभी बीत जाता है रास्ते में
मैं 2 ही दिन से देख रहा हूँ मैं बोला वाइफ नहीं है आपकी तो आप पूजा करके आ रहे हो क्यों सारी गलतियों का पश्चाताप एक टीका लगा के कर लो
So, asanas. So, what are the schools of asanas I have quoted yesterday for you? Agni? What are the asana schools I said you? The type of school? Yeah.
Schools of yoga.
Asana, not yoga. Asanas.
School of asana.
Have you written that paper exam and oral viva also you have to complete for you? So
Yeah.
far, oral answer also you have to do. Keep in mind. Okay, you tell me.
School of asana. But what the groups are? I don't understand. Like Hatha, Vinyasa, asana, like standing.
I said there are Atha school of asana and next is Patanjali Vasistha school of asana. Atha means the like a vinyasa or exerting or straining. Atha means force, adamant, force, training. In Patanjali Vasistha is a mild form. It's gentle form, not overstraining. It's stable, comfortable. But in Atha is asana is very major. But for Patanjali asana is minor for him. For him meditation is major. Understand? In Hatha Yoga, asana focus, nod is like energy and mind. But in Patanjali, the asana is for meditation and samadhi.
But what is Patanjali?
Patanjali. Yeah, I can ask. If you don't ask any question and answer, they will forget everything. Simply listening everyone. That's what I have to keep exam and all.
He is the founder, father of yoga.
That one you saw that day, first thing you saw the idea.
Ah, yes.
That is Mr. Patanjali.
Who is mother of yoga?
Mother of yoga.
If it is fathers, there will be some mother also. No? Without mother, father cannot be. Right? Right? Then there will be mother. So find out.
Shiva himself is mother of yoga.
Yeah, Shiva, but we worship in the form of male only, human being.
Yeah, but he is Ardhanarishwar.
No, human being visualizing God in the form of human being with the physical body. But that is the lower aspect of God. The higher aspect is actually God doesn't have, the higher quality of God is no name, no form. That is in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said clearly. Saguna, Nirguna. So God, we worship. So that means no gender, no name, no form. Only quality remains. So Shiva is not either male or female or neutral. But we personify, symbolically we worship in India, Shiva as a male. Maybe there is a male dominated India, no? Might be because of that. If it is a female dominated India, we will be considering Shiva as female. So, Atha school of asana and Patanjali, there is a sage, Rishi, yogi, a great yogi, who is the author of the school of yoga. For yoga is the author, the master, authority, Patanjali. And Vasistha also a great yogi, but he also written about yoga called Yoga Vasistha. He was dictating to Swami Rama. Not Swami, Rama.
God Rama.
This is Guru.
राम का गुरु था.
Ram Lakshman. Ram Lakshman. So there is the beauty Yoga Vasistha and Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita being preached by God to human, divine to human. Yoga Vasistha, human being teaching to God. Yoga Vasistha. When he was so depressed at that time, Sage Vasistha, guiding through yoga, counseling through yoga.